Terrorism, Canadian politics, and reality. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. Do you ever get the feeling that politicians aren't necessarily taking the issue of terrorism seriously, or they're playing it for some kind of political game? Well, I spoke with a man who knows the issue well. Martin Rudner's a professor emeritus and a researcher from Carleton University. He helped develop the intelligence unit there. He knows the intelligence system in Canada quite well. He was asked to testify on the issue of terrorism financing in Canada. And I spoke to him about this afterwards, and he said, too often politicians are playing the terrorism card for one way or the other, not out of a sense of national security and what's best for the country, what's best for all Canadians, but what is best for them. So that includes whether it's conservatives hyping the issue or liberals and New Democrats playing down the issue. But Rudner says one thing is clear. Canada is a target of terrorists because they've told us so.
In that sense, it prevents our building a national consensus among all parties, among all segments of the Canadian population, realizing that here are the threats to Canada, not because we're saying so, the adversary is saying so. Islamic State has declared we are an enemy. Al-Qaeda has explicitly declared through fatwas and through publications, we are the enemy. Let's accept their declarations in good faith, so to speak, and build a national consensus.
That's a view I've had for a long time. We need to take them at their word. They say they want to kill us. They say why they want to kill us. Let's believe them. Let's believe them until they prove otherwise. Lawyer and security analyst David Harris is of the same mind that too often political operatives are looking out for something other than the best interests of the country.
In more recent pre-election days, talk up the threat. I'm one of those who has felt that we've really rather been in a terrorism crisis, but that most people haven't been aware of it because it's tended to have been talked down for so long by politicians and media, who I guess in some ways have been concerned not to upset people unduly, but at the same time have caused us to lag behind reality in our perceptions of what's going on.
One of the disturbing things heard at the Finance Committee the other day was that for all our operations that track large sums of money moving in and out of the country, for all our attempts to try and pinpoint where terrorist financing is coming from, it's getting cheaper and cheaper for people bent on jihad to carry out an attack, as evidenced by the attacks in Ottawa, in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, in Garland, Texas, on the weekend. So what do we need to be worried about more? Do we need to be worried more about a large-scale attack or a small attack with small cells? David Harris again says maybe it's something we need to keep an eye out on both.
I think the honest answer is we don't know fully and completely. This is very much an analytical work in progress, part of the frustration, I think, of many analysts of good faith, and part of the hazard that we all face in an area that is replete with unknowns.
As a new warning out, this time it's not directed exclusively at Canada. It's directed, in fact, at the United States. A warning that claims to be from ISIS, saying that they have 75 people in 15 states ready to carry out the types of attacks that we saw in Garland, the types of attacks we saw in Ottawa, in St. John. There is news also that a British man, a former hacker who joined ISIS, helped groom the two shooters, the two terrorists in Texas. While they were living in Phoenix, he groomed them to carry out the attack. Never met them, did it all online. Professor Rudner is correct. Terrorism is a real threat. It's something we have to pay attention to, and it's not something that we should be playing politics with one way or the other.